Time to bring the bass back.
Mix is the beat of our culture. Your music.
I thank God for the opportunity to make music and for that music to be on a platform for people to come out and love.
Your stories.
It's gold for the Philippines.
The next generation of creators, artists, and filmmakers.
We bring you the latest and greatest impacting people from our community.
Spotlighting inspiring content from Generation Mix.
It's just a true honor to be able to do this, especially with all the great Filipino talent here.
Discover fresh artists first from around the world. Uniquely Filipino.
Step back three. He has got that.
Mix is the beat of our culture.
Hello everyone, welcome to this MYXclusive interview. I'm VJ IE, and joining us today is a Canadian R&B artist. He's got a new single called Broken Open, and this song is for those who lost themselves for a little moment and they want to find out who they are and they just want to be happy now. They're just trying to forget, and now they're ready to love again if their heart will be broken open. So we'll talk more about that. Joining us all the way from Toronto, please welcome Chad Price.
Hello. Thank you so much,
Hi.
IE. That was a lovely introduction, by the way. You nailed it. I barely have to talk about the song now. That was perfect.
No, I'm sure we had to read between the lines some more and we have to know more about the song. But thank you so much for joining us this morning from the Philippines. What time is it there?
Thank you for having me. It is 10 p.m. here in Toronto.
Ooh.
Yeah,
thank
but
you
it's
for
okay.
staying up for us.
I'm a night owl, so it's all good. Happy to be here.
Oh, so it's pretty early for you then.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good for another few hours.
So how are you, Chad? Have you ever been to the Philippines?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking me. I've never been to the Philippines. The closest I've been is Singapore.
Ooh,
Yeah,
close.
yeah, fairly close. But I would love to go to the Philippines. That's definitely in my plans. Cannot wait. One day.
Oh, you should do a show here because I'm telling you, with your lyrics, I mean, Filipinos love heartbreak songs and of course, great music. So we'd love to see you perform here. But what have you been up to this week? What's been keeping you busy?
What's been keeping me busy? Well, the single that was just released on Friday, I've been doing a lot of work and
Congrats.
press around that. And just, there's a lot that goes into the release of a song. There's so many things that you have to have aligned and ready. So just making sure that everything is ready to go. And then, once it was out, just celebrating the fact that I have a new song that's out in the world, that it took a lot of effort to create. And I think that just deserves to be celebrated. So I took some time for myself to pat myself on the back and to say, good job, Chad. You just put a part of your soul out there in the world. So that's pretty much it,
Well, here on MYXclusive, we also like discovering new sides to the artists we interview. So we'd love to know, aside from music, what is your current obsession?
Ooh, current obsession aside from music. Okay, so I've been getting into jogging. I'm not like a
Healthy.
big exercise guy or a health guy.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I live beside a lake here in Toronto. It's called Lake Ontario, and it's just a beautiful lake. And I've never really enjoyed it until I started jogging. It's just beautiful. So I wanted to be out there. So yeah, I've started this new thing. I jog a couple times a week, and it's the worst. I don't recommend
For how
jogging.
long?
I'm just starting, so it's not, I'm not going too far yet. Maybe 3 kilometers, a couple kilometers. But I'm starting and stopping. I'm running for 5 minutes, resting for a minute or two, running again. So I'm very early on. But that's kind of the new thing that I'm into. Yeah. Again, I'm not a health guy, but I'm trying it out.
Well, that's the most important part. The first step, at least.
Yeah.
You tried
also,
it.
yeah. Also, yoga. I've recently gotten into speaking of the health kick that I'm on. I've started to try yoga. I'm not flexible in any way, but I've begun my yoga journey. It's going well.
But how do you think that helps though with your music? I mean, I know artists also need to keep up with their endurance and everything, especially with cardio. Does it help at all?
It does help, actually. Obviously it helps physically, but the mental aspect is just as important. Centering yourself, being able to just focus on your breathing and your movements and block all of the nonsense that goes through your mind all day, just to block that out for an hour is really empowering, I think. And it does clear up mental space to be more creative later on in the day. So yeah, I think it definitely helps in that respect.
Wow. Well, now that we're talking about music again, we'd also like to know about your love for John Mayer. That's something we have in common,
Oh,
by the way. We're both huge
really?
fans of John Mayer. Can you tell us about how he has influenced your music?
Absolutely. And I love that you're a fan of John Mayer too. That's awesome. He's probably the biggest musical influence that I've had in my life. I first started listening, I was a little bit late. I started listening to his stuff around when the Continuum album came out in about 2005 or six. And that kind of made me go back and listen to some of his older albums. And I just discovered this brilliance of meshing amazing guitar playing with super, super good songwriting. That's like evocative and simple, but poignant at the same time. And it just inspired me. I've been a guitar player since I was 10 years old, but just as a hobby. And then I heard John, and he actually made me want to sit down and write songs for the first time. So he's the one that kind of pulled me into songwriting and just music, creativity, like creatively making my own things, bringing things into the world that weren't there the day before. So I owe a lot to John. But yeah, I'm a diehard fan. I just saw him like a couple weeks ago here in Toronto. Is like,
Oh my gosh, I was about to ask.
Mm-hmm.
So, how was it?
It was great. It was a fantastic show. You never know what he's going to play now because he's been doing this for like 20 something years and his catalog is huge. So you're like, oh, is he going to play this? Is he going to play that? You never know what he's going to play, but the set list was brilliant. He played some songs that I've never heard him play, like this random one called Walt Grace Submarine Test from his one of his albums. And yeah, it was just really, really good. And every time I see him, even though I've seen him like way too many times now, to be honest with you, it's always joyous and there's always something new. So yeah, John's a huge influence. I would die happy if I got to like open for him one day.
Ooh, well, I hope you get to meet him and perform with him, or maybe even collaborate on a song with him someday. But yes, with an archive that deep of John Mayer, you wouldn't know what he would play and what he would wear during shows. But
that's true.
Okay, now
style.
We also heard that you took a little break. You didn't release new music for quite some time. So we'd like to know what you were busy with during that time. Why the break and what reignited your musical comeback?
Sure. Yeah, I released my last album in 2017. It was self-titled, called Chad Price. And then from there, I toured a lot in 2017 and 2018, mostly around Canada. That's also when I came to, actually it was 2019 when I went to Singapore. But I was just touring a lot, and the goal was to get back into the studio in 2019 and to start a new album that would be out in 2020. As we all know, 2020 was a write-off of a year. So I was in the studio and I was prepared at the end of 2019 to make this album and have it released in like summer of 2020. Then the world shut down and I was like, okay, well, now I have time to refine this thing and to like really go in on this album and make it even better than I thought it could have been. So I used that extra time to like really, really dig into this. By the way, I have a new album coming. I guess I've let the cat out of the bag. I used that time to make a new album, and Broken Open is one of the singles from it. And yeah, that's what I've been working on. I've been working hard on a brand new album, a new pop album. I haven't really gone fully into pop before. I've been kind of like folk soul-ish, but like I wanted to make a really good pop album because I love pop music, and this is my version of it. It still feels like me. It's like not generic in any way. And Broken Open, I think you can hear that on it as well. Very soul inspired, very R&B inspired pop music.
Well, now that you've mentioned the album, aside from Broken Open, are your previous releases going to be included in it, like somehow, some way?
Yes, the previous releases will be in it. Somehow, some way will be on there, and my single Wait will be on there, as well as a whole host of other new songs. So it's not like I've given too much away, honestly. It's going to be a 15-track album, I believe. So I know, that's a lot these days, but it's still like 40 minutes, so I think people can consume it. But yeah, there's going to be a lot on that you haven't heard, and I'm really excited about it.
Okay, so you didn't really take a break from music, did you? You were just really working hard by
Exactly.
yourself,
Exactly.
waiting to be broken open and
Yeah.
to release music.
I
Okay,
just went
now
underground. I
yeah,
just went underground for a bit. Yeah,
exactly.
that's right. I was just like not front facing for a couple of years, but now I'm back.
Yes, and we're so happy you
Thank
released
you.
Broken Open. So how did it come about, and what's the message of the song?
Broken Open came about by me challenging myself to go deep and get vulnerable with myself, which I've done on a lot of the new releases. And that's largely in part to the producer that I worked with. His name's Matthew Johnston. He's a fantastic producer here. He's Canadian as well. And I was in the studio with him for a long time, and we would make these songs, and I'd make the songs and I'd present it to him and I'd be like, what do you think? And Matthew would often come back with like, that's a really good song, but like, why don't you just say what you're trying to say rather than being artistically clever and being a wordsmith, which is cool too. Like, why don't you just like say what you want to say? And I'm like, okay. And that kind of turned into Broken Open. It's me talking about like times in my life where I didn't really love myself enough, and acknowledging that, and that it's no way to live long term. So it's about that, and it's about sometimes you have to be broken in order to find your true self, your real self, kind of like what you hinted at the beginning of this. Sometimes being broken is a little necessary in order to become who you're meant to become. So that's essentially what the song speaks to. And it's I love it because it feels cathartic. It feels like some sort of emotional release that is needed. And I feel like we all kind of need that. And it's got like positive vibes too. It makes you feel good. I think it makes me feel good when I listen to it. Like I listen to it by myself, and it like makes me smile and makes me groove. So I just hope it brings a little bit of joy into people's lives, and I hope that people can, feel a little bit more understood and a little bit more seen from this song, because like a lot of us struggle silently, and we don't need to. We can talk about it and be vulnerable about it. And this is how I am choosing to express that vulnerability with all of you. So thanks for listening.
And thanks for being brave about it. I mean, not many artists are comfortable bearing this part of themselves, and because of this, because of being direct with the lyrics, I think it also connected to more people. And now there are a lot of fan reactions about the lyrics. What are the feedback that you've been seeing so far and that really connected with you?
Yeah, the feedback's been really nice so far. I'm getting a lot of messages from people saying that like they recognize themselves in the lyrics. They really, they understand, they've been there as well. And, that's like the cherry on top of making music. I make music for myself to express myself. And I hope that it makes an impact with other people. And the fact that it is making an impact is just amazing. I can't believe that I get to do this for a job, and then I get to actually help people somehow through the music. And, it's just connecting everyone. It's just, recognizing, like I said before, we're kind of all in this together. We kind of all struggle with these things, and it's a matter of being open about it that can empower us to get through it and not feel so bad about it, and not feel all this guilt, this self-guilt and self-loathing about how we feel about ourselves, about other people. Is just connecting with other people about that is a way to dissolve that, those types of feelings in people. So it's been really nice. Yeah.
Exactly. The beauty of music.
Yeah.
You're doing something therapeutic for yourself, and then it also helps other people in some
Yeah.
way. And what makes it more powerful also is that if it has a video. Here on Mix, we actually play out music videos on our channel,
Okay.
and fans have to vote for it every day for it to enter our Mix chart. So music videos are a big deal to us. So we'd like to know
Awesome.
if a music video is in the works for Broken Open.
I can officially say a music video is in the works for Broken Open, and it will be released very soon. There's no release date yet, but it's definitely on the way. I can't wait for you guys to see it. It's going to be, I think, really, it's going to be great. I think you're going to love it.
Well, with how you're speaking about it, it seems as if you're already done shooting it.
I might be. There might be a little bit. There might be a little bit more to happen still. But
Okay.
yeah, it's gonna be. I think you're gonna love it. It's a little bit unpredictable for me, at least. It's something that I've never really done before in a music video. So
Oh,
I'm excited to share it.
nice.
I can, yeah, that's the tease for it, I suppose.
Okay. But one thing I also noticed with your music is that
Hmm.
you sometimes really involve like a gospel choir
Hmm.
in the background. Will we be seeing that in the video as well, and will we be hearing more of that in the album?
You might see some gospel choir, some gospel visuals in the album,
Hmm.
yes. But I love gospel music. I'm not like necessarily religious or anything, but it's just powerful to me, and I love the choral vocal thing. So yeah, I used it in my other song somehow, some way, with a great group of artists, Eleanor Gibrew, Ficker Kirabel, and Justin Mackey, and a host of other people, whoever was kind of around the studio. I'm like, just get in
Hmm.
there with the, get in there and sing. It's gonna sound great. Get in, sing and stomp. And then on this one, Ficker Kirabel again, who was on Somehow Some Way, and Jordan LG and Brandon Watt were also in the choir in this one, as well as my own vocals. So there's a little bit of studio magic that happens there to make it like sound even bigger than it is.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I just love that sound. It's so powerful. And in this song, when it comes in the last chorus, it really comes through strongly. And
Hmm.
it just makes it more emotive and more special. So it's a sound that I've always loved. I don't know how you can't love it when the gospel choir is involved, right? So yeah,
I know.
I guess it's becoming like kind of a part of my signature or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's actually my favorite part of the song when
Yeah.
everything's coming together. The gospel choir's there, and they're just
Yeah.
singing,
The
and
clapping.
yes, and I think it really helps with what you said earlier, the cathartic
Hmm.
feeling. It definitely does help. Now let's talk about you performing live on stage again.
Hmm.
Are you excited to be on stage again? I mean, did you miss it? Even though we kind of know you're sort of an introvert, you've mentioned in your
Hmm.
interviews before. So,
Hmm.
what are your feelings about performing live again?
I'm super excited about performing live. I am an introvert, but there's something about going on stage that kind of unleashes this other personality in me, I suppose. It sometimes it takes one song, but then after that, I'm like super comfortable and in my zone. So I'm very excited to hit stages again. I'm going to play a bunch of shows in Toronto and area soon. And then if things go as planned, I would love to go overseas into Southeast Asia and play some shows over there. But yeah, I can't wait to hit the stage. And I'm in rehearsals right now with my band, so we're learning all of these songs, and it's it feels so great. Like it's one thing to make the song in the studio and like construct the song from the ground up. It's another thing to learn how to play it live. They're two different energies. I love them both. Um, but right now I'm like super in love with the live thing, and I can't wait to show my fans and show the people out there how these songs translate live, because they're going to be like even more fun and even more joyous, and it's going to be like a lot of crowd interplay between me and them. So yeah, it's going to be great.
Yay! We can't wait for you to do a show here in the Philippines as well. So while
Thank
we
you.
Filipino fans wait for that, what's your message to all of your Filipino fans watching right now?
My message to my Filipino fans is thank you. Thank you for caring about what I do. I appreciate you, giving a damn about the music that I make, and I really appreciate it. So thank you. Keep listening, share the music, and I hope to bring it to you live very soon. Thank you.
Thank you as well for sharing so much with us today. Once again, to everyone watching, please do stream Broken Open. It's now out, and let's all wait for the music video to come out, and of course, the upcoming album from Chad Price. Thank you so much, Chad, for joining us this morning in the Philippines, evening there in the Canada. And to everyone watching, have a great day. Once again, I'm VJ IE for this MYXclusive interview. Bye. Thanks, Chad.
Thank you, IE.